China is facing a new threat, an energy shortage, a crisis even. With fuel prices high and a lack of coal in particular, factories are having to shut down, and some households have no electricity. Another issue China is dealing with right now is the debt crisis at Evergrande, the real estate conglomerate, now on the verge of default, which if it happens would have ripple effects around the world. To take a closer look at both of these issues, today we have in the studio our very own Jang Tae-hyun. Good to see you, Tae-hyun.
Good afternoon, Devin.
Well, let's start with the power outages in China. This seems highly unusual and a big deal for an industrial country like China. What's the situation overall?
Well, China is experiencing an energy crisis and it's starting to affect people's daily lives, adding to the risk of an economic slowdown. There have been blackouts in some of China's northern provinces, and even traffic lights have been turned off. Local media say it's because of the lack of electricity since coal and natural gas cost too much. China is highly dependent on coal for power, accounting for more than 60% of the country's electricity generation.
The problem is that China stopped importing coal from Australia last year, amid a political disagreement between the two countries. That's why the price has spiked by 50%, meaning that power plants make a loss when generating electricity. And this has led to a power outage.
President Xi Jinping previously announced plans to decarbonize the economy by 2060 and has capped the growth of coal mining. Demand for coal from factories in China spiked, but utilities were unable to buy enough fuel after the price soared.
So this is affecting ordinary people in their daily lives. It's connected to international relations, as you said, and China has been called the factory of the world, so it needs this power. It's an industrial powerhouse. So if they don't have electricity in China, this would have an impact not only there, but around the world.
Yes, that's right. So the power outage is starting to affect various industries, with several provinces ordering factories to stop operations. Even some Apple and Tesla suppliers have suspended production to follow the tighter energy consumption policies, putting supply chains at risk amid rising demand for electronic goods. The Chinese operations of South Korea's steel giant, POSCO, have also been affected. POSCO was forced to stop operating and will resume in early October.
16 out of 22 provinces cannot use power, so unless China and Australia solve their conflict, this situation could be prolonged.
Goldman Sachs cut its forecast for China to 7.8%, down from 8.2%. The banking giant says the energy crisis poses significant downside pressures and affects 44% of China's industrial activity.
Well, Tae-hyun, let's move on to the other big issue that's affecting China right now, a crisis really, the possible collapse of the real estate giant Evergrande. What's the overall situation there?
Okay, so Evergrande is one of China's largest real estate companies and also has interest in other sectors, but its debts snowballed as it borrowed to finance its multiple pursuits. The group has more than $300 billion of liabilities. And the issue.
Right, the issue there, of course, being that $300 billion, it's got to make interest payments on that, and if they're not able to, as they were not able to last week, then they could face a default. They're in a grace period right now, but that would be a massive deal if they were to default. What's the company doing to get these payments back on track?
Okay, so it was announced today that Evergrande will raise over $1.5 billion by offloading part of Shenjing Bank in an attempt to meet its enormous financial obligations. Evergrande says it will sell a 19.93% stake in the bank it runs to a state-owned enterprise. The company admits its liquidity crunch has adversely affected the bank, and selling part of it will stabilize the bank's operations. Evergrande has another $47.5 million interest payment due on September 29th. Yes, that's today. But it remains to be seen if the firm has the funds at hand. The Chinese real estate conglomerate reportedly missed one payment deadline last week.
Right, and so now they're in the grace period, and some are talking about a possible Lehman Brothers style issue like we saw back at the financial crisis that started in the U.S. Others are saying, though, that the Chinese government will step in and bail out Evergrande, though we might not have seen a clear sign of that yet. Tell us more about that, though.
Of course. So the Chinese authorities are watching the situation, but have not given a clear sign that they're going to intervene. Let's take a listen to an expert for some more insight.
So I would like to clarify that China is already intervening. Evergrande is not anymore a company that can take decisions. We're not going to see a collapse of the financial sector in China. It's neither a demolition. Because this company, maybe with a different name, maybe cut in pieces, is going to continue to operate by finalizing those units.
And she added that those units may be incorporated through local government state-owned developers to reduce the systemic risks.
Right. Well, fascinating report, Tae-hyun. Depending on how the situation unfolds, we'll have to have you keep us up to date on it. So appreciate the reporting today.
My pleasure, Devin.